This is the Roller and the Stroller podcast. I'm Josiah, the roller, and I was born with cerebral palsy and navigate the world in a wheelchair alongside my best friend Kelly, the stroller.
In this podcast, we discuss living with a disability, adapting to surroundings in a wheelchair, and the challenges we face together. We talk about things like going to concerts, traveling, everyday tasks, and sports.
But also get into deeper topics like religion, self-talk, medical needs, and some of the frustrations of using a wheelchair. We will give insight on how to enjoy life with a disability
and share advice on how to understand someone with a disability.
Welcome to the Roller and the Stroller.
This podcast is a sidewallstudios production.
Hello world and welcome to the Roller and the Stroller. I am Josiah, your resident roller.
And I'm Kelly and I'm your stroller. Today we have a very special guest.
Yay!
Hello.
Our very first guest episode of the year 2024. Who do we have today?
What's your name?
You want me to introduce myself?
Yes.
Wow, what kind of podcast is this? You don't do the introduction for
Now
me.
we ain't got time for that.
We ain't got time.
What's your name?
My name's Jeff Haber.
Sweet. That's Jeff.
Where are you from, Jeff?
Originally, I'm from New York, but live here in Colorado Springs now.
Nice.
Okay.
So we know Jeff. He's a mutual friend of ours. He was my friend first. Debatable.
Debatable.
And then I introduced the two of you, if I remember correctly. If you follow us on the Roller and the Stroller podcast, you will see a very sweet video of Jeff gifting Josiah one of his favorite vinyls. What was it? Linkin Park.
We don't have to talk about that.
It was Linkin Park.
Linkin Park Meteora 20th anniversary edition.
Don't cry. Is that why you say we can't talk about this?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Jeff,
Anyway.
today we were talking about wheelchair fears, and you have been saying for a while that you have had some sort of fear of the wheelchair. So please explain.
It's a very dumb fear.
To clarify,
Gotta put that out there.
Jeff, you do not use a wheelchair, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. You want me to show you that I can stand? I can. I'm an able-legged body person.
Able-legged. I love that. All right. So what is your fear? I'm so interested.
It's a very dumb fear, but us guys, when we use the restroom, we have choices, and there's the regular stalls, and then there's the handicap stall, and I guarantee you, no able-legged person chooses the regular stall over the handicap stall when the handicap stall is available. So my biggest fear, and it's dumb, but it's true, is I'll be in the handicap stall, which you shouldn't be in, but we all do it, and then I'll just see someone roll up under. I'll see a wheel roll up underneath, and they'll need to use it. I'll just be in the middle, and I can't. What do you do? What if that handicap person has to go really badly? Like, what if it's a really bad? Like he just has to go in and I would say kick open the door, but punch open the door and he can't because me able-legged is in there.
Listen, that is 100% a fact. Also, I will say this to appease you. If there's no wheelchair users who need it, and it's open, you can go ahead and use it.
But what if I'm using it and then someone comes in who needs it and then I'm the bad guy?
Well, that's on you, homie. No, but it is hilarious because I'll just be out there waiting, and I know they see me because they can sense me and my wheels, and then they'll be like, oh, not a second later, I hear toilet paper. They're trying to bring down toilet paper to finish up.
Right.
And I was like, this is funny. It's always funny.
It's never happened to me, but I imagine if I'm in that situation, it's just like the worst situation to be in.
Okay, that's a very interesting fear to have.
You probably don't even wipe all the way. You probably just do it as quickly as you can.
Probably. Yeah. I mean, can't relate. But
okay, let me put you in this situation. What if that happens? What do you do? Go.
Uno momento. Come back with a warrant.
Do you not wipe at all? You just pull up and go.
No, I think you have to wipe as quickly as you can. Hope it comes all off in one piece.
This is great.
And then,
but you see why how big of a fear this is.
I have to say, I was in the restroom today, and there was a woman, an able-legged, I love that term, an able-legged woman that went into the handicapped stall. And I kind of thought of that because I think one time we had this small discussion where you had to like wait outside the handicap stall until that guy was finished. So can you tell us your experience from the other side? You just have to like hang out and be awkward about it?
yeah.
And like there's no way for you to use the other one Like,
No, because I can get my body in the regular stalls, but I can't get my wheelchair.
The wheelchair.
in.
You
She's
can't.
too thick.
Right.
So my wheelchair is like outside, hanging in the main space of the bathroom, and then I'm in the stall, and then they see a random wheelchair
Yeah.
right.
in the bathroom, and then so I've had to use like a regular person one, a normal
A
person,
regular able-legged person.
an able-legged person.
And
Yeah.
how awful is that?
It's pretty terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
They
awful.
should just make all stalls like the handicap stall.
Yeah.
I know
Because we like our leg room.
the accessible stall has more room.
Yeah.
And
So much more room for activities.
But you cannot possibly know when you are using the restroom if a wheelchair user will come in after you.
No, but in our office, now that you work here, there's 2 people with wheelchairs. So that's
Yeah.
double the percentage of likely someone's going to come up.
Man.
And you're like, oh no.
Nuts.
That's literally the thought when I'm going number 2. My first thought is, God, I hope Josiah and Mason don't show up.
I'm really confused because you're like, you need leg room, but like, is your regular stalls not that big?
No.
It's
You've been in the regular stalls.
They can't be different than ours.
No, they're not, but come on.
Are you being dramatic? And you need lots of space to
He
do
said, come on.
You like
I'm
you like
sorry.
the leg room too. Everyone does.
It doesn't bother me. I never use the handicap.
You don't get
stalls.
claustrophobic in there?
I'm not spending 10 hours in there.
Well,
I have to
that's
say, men
true.
take a long time to go.
We want to get comfortable.
Women-
we got to
women-
check our fantasy team.
We gotta go. Women got things
Women
to
are
do.
out of there in like 2 minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
We
It's
ain't
true.
we ain't even starting to go until 5 minutes in.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We got things to do. We gotta check our fantasy team.
Yeah, we gotta check our Twitters.
Scroll through Instagram.
Come on.
Okay.
You know this.
I don't know this. I don't do that.
Don't forget, women don't poop. They don't fart.
That's
We
true.
don't. We
That's
do
true.
not. It's true. That's a scientific fact. So my question is, Josiah, let's flip the tables here. One of your biggest fears. What if you have to go really, really bad and there's a dude mid poop?
Then you just hope for the best. I've had to use the urinal before, which is really weird to walk in on, I bet. If
like going number 2 in a urinal.
No.
Oh.
To go pee. If you walked into the bathroom and a wheelchair user was using the urinal, what would you do? How would you respond?
Mad props.
Would you be like, "This is weird"?
It would look weird, but also mad props.
I don't think it'd
Okay.
be weird. It'd just be interesting.
But thankfully, I've never had to like go number 2 really bad. It's usually just number 1, which is more manageable.
Your body, we talked about this in our camping episode. Your body does a really great job of knowing when to go number 2. It does. It's magical.
The buns, they close for business.
Okay.
I'm serious.
Jeff, do you have another fear? Because you said you had another one.
I did, but you kind of already talked about this on your podcast, and
Talk about it.
Hit us.
it was God, I forget what episode it was, but you guys were talking about like there's a lot of people who it's like, what would they do if they ever became handicapped? And that's honestly that's a less of a dumb fear, but it's a serious fear because I play so much sports. I'm always at the gym, and like I don't think I could mentally get through the first like 6 months to a year of, let's say I'm in a car crash and then now I'm handicapped for the rest of my life. I don't think I could do it, and I think that's and I know you don't want to hear that because that was what you talked about in your podcast. But for me, it's just like I don't think I could get through that depression. I think if I can't play sports, I can't live. You know.
That's fair. I will say this. I bet you could.
I do too.
I bet you could because you are stronger than you think you are, and it's mind over body.
Literally.
Mind over body. Literally.
But I also think that opens a brand new avenue for you for wheelchair sports.
And you could do adaptive sports. Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely do like wheelchair basketball, but I'd be probably so bad I'd like give up so quickly. Like I don't think I could mentally get to that part.
I think you could. I think you would be similar to Josiah. If you want to do something, Josiah does it. We went skiing. You and I went skiing on Sunday, and we went down a run that you and I went together. And I told Jeff, I was like, "Oh, I've done this run with Josiah," and he looked at me like, "How does he ski?"
We'll
had-
go,
he had
we'll
no
go
idea.
this year. We'll go this
Yeah,
year.
I definitely want to.
Yeah.
I'll show you.
Yeah.
So I think it would be one of those things where like you like to play softball. You would figure it out. You really would. I think you would.
I'd be like that kid in backyard baseball who's in the wheelchair.
Yeah, you would, and that's totally fine.
But I totally get that it would be different and it would be a total adjustment for you.
And I think there's some sports like I wouldn't be able to play softball, just period. That wouldn't be a thing that would happen because you need your legs to swing, right? You know.
Do you?
Yeah,
don't know.
it's all hits. but okay, I could probably figure out basketball. We were even talking about skiing, how expensive
Yes.
it would be for you. So it's not like I could go every weekend like I normally do.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I could do basketball, but like, yeah, I don't. You know who would be a good person to talk to you about this is Mason, because Mason became handicapped while skiing.
Yeah.
So
So for those of you
Mason-
that don't know who Mason is another mutual friend of ours. We've mentioned him not by name, but in our podcast, he is also a wheelchair user. So
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
He's
two.
he's also like his upper body's just jacked too, which like I feel like that's the only way I could get
so
through
is
it.
Josiah.
Yeah, that's the only way I could get through it is if I just like only worked out upper body.
Yeah. But to go back to the skiing thing, like the reason that it's so expensive for Josiah is because he rents the mono ski and
Yeah.
gets the guide. But if you were an active skier, I bet we could purchase our own ski
Yeah,
for
I
you
bet we
and
could
figure it out.
And then also, it's for the lift ticket is part of the package, and
Yeah. So
Right.
I understand what you're saying, but being friends with Josiah, I felt the same way as you, but now I understand. If Josiah wants to do something, if our friend Mason wants to do something, they're going to do it.
They just do it.
They do it. They figure
you
it
know
out.
what you know what it is,
What?
Jeff? It hits different. Okay, it hits different, but it's so I get it. That
Okay, Taylor Swift.
if you were able to walk and all of a sudden you couldn't, that would be an adjustment. And I'm not saying you wouldn't go through a stage of deep dark depression because you probably would.
Yeah.
But you could make
There's
it
no
out the
doubt I
other
would.
side. You could make it out the other side.
If we're friends, maybe. Yeah, I think I got a chance.
I think you could.
I think you could
Do
do.
you, I do want to ask Josiah a question, a little off topic, but do you have any fears of like, what if your legs did work? Like the opposite?
Oh, totally. I don't know what it's like to so if I was like 7 feet tall, which I often say that I am, what is it like to fall on my back at 7 feet tall? Because I know what it is, and this is like 4 feet off the ground, so it's not that bad.
It's not bad. Interesting.
But if it was like 7 feet,
I think another thing that you don't deal with is you don't sprain your ankles.
nope.
You're not going to
True.
ever tear your ACL, probably not.
T God.
T-God, yeah.
I just had an MRI because I fractured a tibia and then
Exactly.
found out I tore my meniscus. So like,
Yeah.
yeah.
See, I can't relate. I don't even know what a meniscus is.
Okay.
But then again, we're talking
Is
about
that
like
in your leg?
it's in
Yes.
your knee, yeah. Yeah. And then like, but then also we're talking about something that like might happen, injuries from sports, which I'm sure you have other medical bills that we don't normally
Yeah.
have. So,
Sure.
you know,
he has to worry about his arms, his rotator cuffs, because
Yeah,
he's
it's
wheeling
true.
all the time.
I'm tearing them.
Yeah, he's tearing them.
I'm tearing my
So let me
rotator
ask you this, Jeff. What happens when you get old and then you have to be in a wheelchair?
God, I don't want to do that.
Well,
You
it
don't want
might
to get
happen.
you don't
I'd
want to
rather-
get to that point.
Right. I've seen, I don't know. And this is like, now we're getting really deep, but I've seen
it.
people get really old and it's like, I don't want that. I don't want to get really old. I'm cool like going at a younger age. You know, I'm not saying I want to tomorrow, but like, I don't want to get to that point where it's like, oh, I can't do the things I enjoy anymore.
Sure.
So you want to say goodnight at like 50?
60. I know
60.
some softball players who play till like 60, 65.
Okay, well, in our aging episode, we kind of touched on that a little
Yeah.
bit, how Josiah kind of feels similar.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I'm not going to be able to go camping or skiing or whatever when I'm older. And I said, but I think when you get older, you might find different hobbies.
Well, like all
Yeah,
my,
I hope so.
Like I think about my grandfather when he got, you know, he just passed at 95. In the last few years, he had dementia. He would, you know, he liked watching baseball, but like he didn't know he was watching baseball towards the end. Like he was
Mm.
just staring at the TV screen. I'm like, I don't want that. Like if I don't want that to happen to me. Mm-hmm. So it's like,
point.
I'd rather just like kind of go on my own terms, whenever that be.
Okay.
Kind of go on your own terms. Bye. Good night. Good night, everyone.
Yeah, I think that's a realistic fear because I felt the same way until I met you, to be honest. I've told you this. Don't get emotional.
No, it's very cute.
Yeah, it's very cute. I know.
We are the cutest.
I remember
ever.
telling my dad, like when I was in high school and I was going through a lot of injuries, if I tear my ACL and my basketball career is over, like what's the point of even being here? Like I would feel kind of the same.
But you know what? You know what's really funny is that like I've played basketball my entire life. It's my favorite sport to play. But like I've had injuries where I'm out 6 months and I get pretty depressed, and it's like I just can't imagine being like at least at the end there's like, okay, it'll get better, my knee will get better, and then I'll get back out there. I can't imagine having that thought of like, oh, I can't just ever play ever again, period. Like, that's the thought that I think would destroy me.
Sure.
You just got to play differently.
Yeah.
You got to play in a wheelchair. You got to get a sports wheelchair, though. And they're pretty expensive.
Great.
And I feel like
Everything's more
Josiah,
expensive. I probably...
Josiah, I would say you do like 99% of the things you want to do.
Yeah.
Right?
98.
98. I think maybe the only thing that you don't do right now, and correct me if I'm wrong, is driving. I think you would really like that freedom,
Yeah.
which I'm trying to get that done.
That's eventually going to happen.
Yeah.
Soon.
So, do you have any wheelchair fears, Josiah?
I don't.
Oh, okay. I would say,
I'm pretty much been through it all.
yeah, I know.
Right.
I would say the expenses of the wheelchair is probably like, oh,
Yeah, but
no.
I grew up with it.
I know, but it still sucks.
And no,
Yeah.
it sucks every time.
Yeah.
I need to ask them a question. Why does a wheelchair cushion cost $500?
I don't know.
It's a ripoff.
It's
It
a
is.
ripoff.
It's
But it makes me-
It
it
can't be
makes
that much
me-
different than a couch cushion.
It makes me more comfy, allegedly, which it does.
Okay.
But
But $500 more comfy.
I don't have any fears.
Okay. I have a
I
fear.
don't think.
I have a fear.
Of being in a wheelchair?
No, of your wheelchair.
Of my wheelchair.
Yeah, I have two.
Tearing your ACL.
No, of
While
your
strolling.
wheelchair, of your person, of fury. Number one, I'm so scared to get hurt by your wheelchair because that happens quite frequently.
Yes.
Because I'm in such a hurry. We all know I'm a very impatient person. I pinch my fingers. I get them stuck in your spokes. So that is a big fear of mine. Number two, I don't think I've ever told you this, but my fear of breaking your wheelchair, of like me personally breaking your wheelchair, is terrifying.
Let me ask
I
you a
believe
question.
that. I
It's
believe
because
that. Yeah.
it's so important to you. You love her, but also
I'll get a
she's your-
new one.
I know, but also she's your ride or die. She's the way that you
she's
get
my,
around.
She's my main. Listen, is that on you though? Like, if you hurt yourself, is it my chair or is it Kelly?
Sometimes it's your chair. It is your
Is it
chair.
really?
That back part is broken, and so it doesn't click. And so it has popped up and hit me before.
Oh,
In the face.
sorry.
In the face. Yeah.
Fury's gonna apologize.
It's okay. I understand, but it sucks that is broken. And I even asked you about that, 2 days ago or yesterday or whatever?
It gets frozen. I don't know if it's broken, but it's supposed to.
Oh.
It's supposed to click in more, and it doesn't.
It doesn't. I'm talking about the back, your backrest, because it doesn't stay down.
yeah, I
and
know.
it came up and it hit me one time when I was putting it in my car. But so yeah, that's a fear.
But also, I think Fury might be going
She's
towards the
retiring
end of
soon.
her life.
Yeah, she's
Aw.
resting in peace soon. And I think my very last fear is the wear and tear on your body for you. I hate that.
For sure.
I
But
hate that.
I know many physical therapists and doctors have said you should probably get a motorized one.
Mm-hmm.
But I like to think of myself as Thor. And for as long as I can be Thor, I will be Thor.
I feel like that's kind of like the whole community in Wall-E, where everyone's just on their motorized things and they're all getting like fat and obese.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
like,
wanna get-
I think if I were you, I'd want a wheel. I wouldn't want a motorized one. I would want a wheel.
See?
I would. Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you?
I would want the option to do both.
Oh, just kick on the motor in the back or something?
No, there's a motorized scooter. I forget what it's called that you can attach to the front of your wheelchair and just press a button and it goes.
But then how would that work with Uber? Because that's more space and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying I would want the option of both.
If I need a rest, I just ask to be pushed.
I know.
I'm also imagining, as you say, Uber. Now my mind goes to like, what would life be like if you're in a wheelchair, like going to bars and stuff, and it's like you're down here and everyone else is up here. It's like that's got to be tough.
I think everybody accommodates to you.
It's not.
I know. Well, I know
You
you.
like, what are you saying? Are you saying you like the view from down
Do you
there?
like-
What are you saying right there? Oh my gosh.
Stop it!
Your
Explicit
eye level with everyone's hips.
You do like that. Okay. Look at that smile.
Look at the face. Look at the face.
Okay.
I know you guys have talked about like going to concerts and
Why-
stuff. I feel like
why
you could
you-
figure that out, but like I'm just thinking like, what if you just wanted to go to the bar and it's a crowded bar? That's probably difficult and not fun. I mean, most crowded bars aren't fun to begin with. But
Have you seen Lord of the Rings?
yeah, of course.
Do you know that scene when Aragorn opens the doors?
Is that what everyone does?
Yeah.
When they see you?
Yeah.
So do you feel the power?
Yeah. Yep. Pretty
He
much.
gets high on that kind of power.
And I will say this: I do like the view. Okay, it's not my fault. I'm down here.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Let's close this episode with a musical recommendation. Jeff, would you like to go first?
Sure.
Or would you like to go last?
I thought about this way too much
We knew
because
you would.
I'm such a music guy. I'm gonna
Yes.
go with "Lost" by Dermot Kennedy. Amazing Irish singer-songwriter. It's just a beautiful song, and there's hints of, his first album is called "Without Fear," so it's from that album. So that was the first thought I had, was it's got to be something from that album, and it's just a very beautiful, sad song. But the way I've interpreted it, and I've talked to Dermot about it, he won't give me anything about what like the real meaning behind the song. But I think the song is a conversation between two friends, one that's lost and one that isn't. And there's a lyric that goes, "I need your spine to hide behind." And I love that. And that's,
you need my spine to hide behind?
if I'm ever in a wheelchair, yes.
Okay.
So
Bromance over here. Okay,
Kelly.
my turn. I am not gonna be as deep as Jeff, but my recommendation is "Run From Me" by Balance and Composure.
Run for me.
Sorry, you can't run, but run from me.
Run from me.
Run From Me by Balance and Composure.
Do you want to do another one?
No.
Because you just said run from me, and we talked about fears of being in a wheelchair.
Yeah, I'm gonna run from fears. So
Okay.
I'm running.
Oh,
you won't be able to run from this
I'm
fear.
also gonna run from Josiah.
This is literally the one fear you can't run from.
I could probably catch up,
Okay, bet.
but maybe because your knees.
They're doing pretty good.
Okay, good.
I mean, my surgery is still healing, so maybe you can catch up.
Maybe
Okay, what's yours?
we'll find out. So it's called "Welcome to Horwood," and one of the lines is "Fear the Premier." Okay, fear the premier.
Okay.
I don't know. I tried to connect it like Jeff. It's not working.
No, it makes sense. 10 out of 10.
I'm just surprised neither of you did Tears for Fears. I felt like there's so
No.
many fear things.
I don't fear a lot of
The
things.
Fear Factor theme song.
My recommendation
true. It
is the Fear Factor theme song. No. Okay.
And then it's by Ice Nine Kills. Mine is.
Oh, your band.
Yes.
You love them.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Roller and the Stroller. Thank you to Jeff, our guest.
Thank you
our
for having me.
illustrious
This was so
guest.
much fun. I love this.
Of course.
I have been Josiah, your resident roller.
And I'm Kelly, and I'm your stroller.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace.
Hey, what up? It's Post Editing Kelly. We're terrible podcast hosts. We forgot to mention that Jeff has a podcast. It's called Jeff's Jukebox, where he interviews musical artists. Like he just posted an interview with Tate McRae. He has an interview with Tori Kelly, Louis Capaldi, that one dude from One Direction. What's his name? Louis Tomlinson or whatever. Yeah, like it's a really great podcast. You should go listen to it. Again, we're terrible podcast hosts. We're so sorry we didn't mention it during this episode. I'll link everything in the description below or in the podcast notes or whatever. So Jeff's Jukebox. Go listen to it. Thank you, Jeff. Sorry we suck at freaking being podcast hosts, but doesn't really matter. We have 11 listeners anyway. Anyway, we'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye. Love you. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Roller and the Stroller podcast. We're rolling out.
This is a Sidewall Studios production.
Boom! Oh, we should keep that moving.